Hey there, thanks for tuning in. So let's talk about the 5 whys technique for analyzing cause and effect. It is a very simple technique. It is more aimed at cultivating the habit of applying it in daily life wherever the situation arises and putting in a conscious effort, making a conscious effort to do so. So let's look at the purpose of this technique. 5 whys is an analyzing technique by interrogating with the right set of questions. So we put in the right questions, we throw in the right questions and then try to dig in. This is aimed at exploring the cause and effect relationships underlying a problem. It determines the root cause of a problem. That is the prime focus of using this technique. It is used to inculcate a curious mind approach to a problem and to analyze the facts. For all you know, you would already be using this technique without connecting the jargon which we are talking about right now. So how do we do this? It's a very simple thing. You analyze a problem by repeating the question why. It's not exactly repeating, it's an iteration. You try to dig in and throw in different sets of questions in the why form. Now you might say, what? Is it that simple? Wouldn't that be irritating, infuriating, frustrating? And yes, it could result in a messy standoff situation as well. Well, not with the right environment and right mindset. We need all the folks involved in this technique to have the right mindset, and they should all contribute to the common cause. Let's see how this works. Before we start, just a peek into the history of this technique. It was formally developed by Sakichi Toyoda, the king of Japanese inventors and the founder of Toyota Industries. This approach, along with many others we will be talking about in upcoming videos, were popularized by Toyota Industries in the first place. So coming back to the how part of the technique, by repeatedly asking the question why in the right direction, the intention is to dig into the conditions and get under the hood. So first and foremost, a problem exists and is brought to your attention. You get the connected people together for a brainstorming session. The initial diagnosis is presented and all folks are in line with what is being discussed. You then start asking why and try to drill down the problem which has been put up. More facts and conditions are presented based on the question which is being thrown forward. The why question continued till the root cause is identified. It is a pretty simple and curious technique. The idea is to keep an open mind and ask why in the right direction. Things can go wrong if you are asking the wrong question. So you need to be very much connected with the subject matter. You should have knowledge to discuss that subject matter and put in your thoughts, as well as consider the thoughts being put in by other folks in the meeting. So you might be thinking, why 5 iterations? Well, the number comes from an anecdotal observation. There are variations of this technique to best suit different situations. However, 5 has stuck on due to its past usage. So 5 is just an adopted practice and the name came from it. You can do it less or more based on the situation. Your judgment and understanding of the situation is vital for a positive outcome. Here's an example. I think it's the best way of explaining something. So let's say you are a sales manager and you're overlooking operations for multiple stores. A problem is highlighted that one particular store is receiving high complaints. The nature of complaint is more to do with staff behavior on the shop floor. So you get in the connected resources and the brainstorming session starts with presentation of facts. Let's say the fact put forward is store X has received 30 complaints in last 15 days regarding floor staff being rude to customers. The complaint talks about staff not paying attention to customers and not providing enough inputs on the sold products. You review the report and dig in further. So here is a possible approach which might come up in one of these discussions. First question, why are the staffs not paying attention in explaining the products? The possible response would be the staff members are young and still learning. Things should be fine in a couple of months. So, based on the first response, the next possible question would be why are young staffs handling a store on their own? Again, a possible response would be this is the way we normally handle operations. New joiners are hired and trained for 2 weeks before getting deployed at stores. This happens in all the stores. Very good. So the third possible question would be why are other stores not having such problems? The team would dig into the facts and figures which are there in front, and a possible response would be we have a mix of experienced and young staff at all other sites. Great. So the fourth question would be why the same situation does not exist in this store. Again, after digging in, the possible response would be one senior staff from this store left just around the time the new joiners came in. That's a situation which has got created in this particular store. Nobody took notice of it because it was never considered to be a criteria for running stores. So the possible fifth question would be, so why can't we share experience resources between stores to mitigate such situations? And a response would be we did not look at this factor before. Now that it is clear, we will have experienced staff in all stores and especially where new joiners are coming in. Let's shift Miss X to this store to quickly have a mentor in spot. Great. We concluded this technique with the fact that experience matters and we need the right folks on the floor. Always mix experienced staff with a new lot. Note we cleared the problem with 5 why questions, but this alone does not help in identifying root cause. The right data that is properly analyzed to make choices and direct the outcome is vital. For instance, in our early example, imagine that the complaints filed at the store came from one and only one customer. Well, that part can easily be overlooked if we don't have the right mindset, and the whys we ask will mislead the outcome. So it is important that we build up a general awareness of the situation and we should be connected with the subject matter to have the right questions thrown in. The method heavily relies on the experience, knowledge and expertise of individuals involved in applying this technique. If you do not ask the right questions, you don't get the right answers and the team moves into wrong direction. All members involved in the discussion should be persistent and work in same direction. Foster an atmosphere of trust and sincerity to apply this technique. The idea is not to be rude. The idea is not to be pointing fingers. The idea is to work together to resolve the issue. There is no guideline on the type of question to ask. It all depends on the insight and experience of the person quizzing and the person responding. Blame game. Yes, things can get personal unless both parties or all parties have a positive outlook on the exercise. To keep a positive mind, focus on asking why on the processes involved in the problem and not on the people involved. The question should not be directed on why somebody did something. It should be more towards the situation and the processes which could have resulted in the issue. So human error or inattention will not be the root cause of a problem. Well, that's positive to hear as well. Well, think about it. If you have a mindset which is to identify and nail down the process which would have gone wrong, which would have contributed to the problem which has occurred, it actually sets up a positive environment for all people who are working in that direction. It's a wonderful approach, and the very fact that we are not finger pointing, we are not talking about people issues, we are not talking about human error, that itself contributes to a very cordial and positive environment which is directed towards actually getting out quality results. Thanks for watching. Well, till next time.